Welcome back, everyone. We are here on the analyst desk for the LCS Academy Summer Playoff Semifinals matchup between C9 Academy and we have FlyQuest Academy as well. I just want to say the poker face trio is looking mighty fine. I got Magical, I've got Tim, and we get to break down that first game. I'm going to you first, Tim. What was the big standout for you in that first one?
Well, I think there are a couple of things. I mean, compositionally, you look at what Cloud9 had. They had the Lucian to get all that top prio and the Xin Zhao to dive with it. So I think they really had more control of what they wanted to do on the map, especially with that late invade they put on NXI to kind of disrupt his pathing and make it harder for him to do kind of the similar pressure on the bot side. You can see that they were diving that top lane. And then as soon as, Coffee got that solo kill in the mid lane and threw off the TF, suddenly the TF can't make the side lane plays and try to attack that bot side for dives like he wanted to. And so I think Cloud9 had a little more control of the early game with their comp, and they also had the stronger scaling with the Rise especially. So I that's how the game came across, I think, to me, is that FlyQuest really had they needed things to go really well in a certain way for the game to play out, and they got certain moments where they were able to kind of leverage that Diana, Renekton diving the backline together, whatever it was. But the way the comps interacted and the way the mid lane matchup played out with Copy having that really great work in lane, I think really made this game so hard for FlyQuest.
It did, and then you look at like how FlyQuest could play their composition. One of the final fights that they had, it was exactly what they needed. You have the Rel, Diana, Renekton all going in with one another, but unfortunately, they were so far behind at that point that they just got slapped in the wallet by Cloud9. They couldn't actually fight back because they just didn't have the damage to burst through even the squishier members that Cloud9 had.
You could see moments like the one we just saw, right, where they were able to get their CC combos together and make it kind of like a pick comp. And Johnson, I thought, had a great game individually. But it's just so hard to make those and then like leverage that into an objective after and clean about it. They just weren't clean enough, and they needed to be close to perfect.
And for me, it was the fact that like a lot of these replays are actually FlyQuest Academy being aggressive and maybe overextending to some extent, but trying to still find that proactive play. And I think a lot of that proactivity did come through Philip, where he was finding the split lane pushes, Tim.
Yeah, he did really great once he got out of that top lane where it was so hard with the Lucian pushing into him, the Xin Zhao able to dive, the TF not really able to defend him. Although I think, honestly, TF should have been attacking bot, not defending top, so that's where the comp kind of difficulties come in. But once he was able to come out into the side lanes later on and apply all that pressure, and C9 were hesitant, I think, to put the Lucian into a bot lane where he would push out proactively and expose himself to getting picked off with all the CC tools and the TF and so on. So Philip was able to kind of freely pressure those bot lane turrets and create some map presence, and it was pretty impressive what he was able to do there. But we're seeing that final fight here basically that decided the game, and you can see that they finally got that Diana, Renekton, Rel combo, but by that point, Mountain Soul.
You just throw everything in there, and it's a little bit hard to digest, I would say. But one of the big key factors that we were highlighting when we were talking about this first game of the series behind the scenes is the domino effect. It seemed like in that early game where that pressure top lane did throw off NXI's pathing, and then Copy's solo kill just further enhanced that. So it's kind of an interesting feel to that first game for FlyQuest, where you feel like maybe there's a little bit of difference in that early game. Things fall separately.
Oh, completely. And the thing I wanted to even praise with FlyQuest Academy is you look at how well their macro was throughout that game, how they were able to play around a lot of these lanes, Philip in the side causing so much pressure for the team. But unfortunately, it was the stumbles early on, and all Cloud9 had to do was be patient, wait it out. They could play that reactively because you have a Rise and Zhao combo, how well they scale into the late game. This means that as long as they're not hemorrhaging leads, and even there, you saw that some of the plays that FlyQuest attempted to get were thrown right back in their face and gave even more gold over to Cloud9 and continued to get that scaling online.
Yeah, you really needed FlyQuest to be able to, they had their playbook, right? Of, we're going to have Prio in the bot lane, we're going to path Diana top to bottom, and we're going to, invade those Krugs and dive if it's there. TF is there to join with either a TP, or if he's 6 at that point, you can join with that. And play all around the map kind of the way they wanted to. They had that playbook laid out, but C9 just disrupted it early on. That Copy solo kill was just so critical. It influenced so much of the game from that point on. So, overall, I think he had a really great game. But yeah, I think that's really what told the story. And the rest of the game, there were a lot of things that happened, and I don't want to discount the next 35 minutes of
Yeah.
gameplay, but that's really what kind of broke the story for FlyQuest.
I love that you bring that up, though, the 35 minutes, because it was a long one to kick us off for this best of 5 series. And going into this next game, I feel like there's a lot of onus on FlyQuest Academy to make sure those early decision makings, those map pathings are going to be on point. So, Tim, for you, what is the biggest thing for FlyQuest to step up for in this second game?
Yeah, I think I want to see them draft a little differently. I want to see them,
Fiddlesticks?
have a little. Don't let the fiddlesticks through. I'm totally fine with letting Xin Zhao be on the other side, but yeah, draft a little differently, have a little more control, and just react a little more quickly, maybe to the late invade. Don't get solo killed. That's probably it.
There you go. Don't get solo killed. Magical, what you got for C9 side?
Fiddlesticks?
All right, cool. That's it. That's all we got to talk about. Well, draft is ready to go, so we're going to send it over to the beautiful faces of Rafa and Smacks. Take it away, boys.
It's so endearing that Mad Magical will just continue asking and pleading for Fiddlesticks further and further into the draft. And I have to echo Magic's or Tim's sentiments completely. I don't think FlyQuest Academy are afraid of letting the Xin Zhao through, because I mean, it was the way that Cloud9 executed it was I think it can still happen regardless of the jungle that you put in there for FlyQuest. The big problem, Smacks, is the Ziggs, which they banned away finally.
Yeah, gotta remove that one there. I think that this is really interesting for FlyQuest because this isn't a pick that Cloud9 prioritized with their first pick, right? They did go for the jungler on the first pick immediately. And I think part of that is because... I was going to say it's because the FlyQuest did ban away the Olaf and the Fiddlesticks, but that still is going to be true in this game, Rafa. It's still going to be Darshan locking that first pick in Xin Zhao for sure and fire.
I wonder if FlyQuest want to just lock in the Aphelios to pair it up with the Thresh. We have seen that combination time and time again. Or, now, we can't be debated by hovers. NXI just going through the whole champion roster at the moment. Cloud9 Academy, now that they know they're going up against Aphelios Thresh, it does unlock, a Senna answer. Now, if we remember back to early in the Academy season, Smacks, where we saw a Dr. Mundo Senna bottom lane. I don't know if that is going to be the eventual play for Cloud9, but a Senna combo always works very nicely for Cloud9 Academy in the past.
I really liked the Senna Mundo into specifically Aphelios Thresh because Mundo was able to just shrug off the crowd control and pick potential that duo has over their opponents. So Cloud9 keeping their options available, they do still have this flex pick for potentially copy Darshan or Isles. All three of them have had games on this champion over the course of this year. I believe Isles has had the most of them, so I feel like this is still
Karma,
that possibility that it is going to be Karma and Senna as the bot lane pair. Even though Karma is a range champion, doesn't work nearly as well with a lot of the melee champions that you can just rope the Senna healing and damage through the melee champion, but it does still work out. You still have a lot of sustain in this lane.
I'm curious to see if Cloud9 will ban Lulu. Oh, there it is. Oh, okay. Because Cloud9, they said, hey, we got our Xin Zhao plus Enchanter combo. We don't want FlyQuest to have Olaf Enchanter combo. See, they immediately yoink away the Lulu. I don't know if the Seraphine necessarily merits a ban as well, as we've seen mixed results from Seraphine over the course of the Academy split. She's nowhere near as strong as she was when she was kind of in her heyday here, Smacks.
I would agree. You know, a champion would be pretty sick though is Lux. I feel like that champion would work pretty well. I know that nobody is playing this champion. It's just a pipe dream of mine. But I do like it as an enchanter, and it pairs pretty well with these champions so far. But I'm not going to keep tunneling on that champion. That's definitely not going to be picked. For FlyQuest, they're still lacking some magic damage. They can leave open their top laner if Philip is keen on picking things like Kennen. That champion has been popping up pretty recently and does pair pretty well with this composition that they already have. You know, you get that team fight power, and in the lane as well, you don't need as many ganks and as many preparation points for Kennen, but instead they are just going to lock in the safe blind of Renekton. Again, Philip very comfortable on this champ.
So far for FlyQuest, I mean, this Aphelios will be kind of their big late game insurance policy, as just Aphelios, especially with the new builds that we've seen, mainly popularized by Danny over in the LCS on Evil Geniuses. That Gale Force Collector build does a bunch of damage combined with the early lethality. You can just like one-shot a bunch of squishies, but you're also able to cut through decently sized front lines. This Olaf Renekton combo, last time we saw it was the Diana Renekton because you wanted to accelerate the top side of the map. Olaf does that job, then Diana even better because you can start making aggressive plays and have agency super early on. But okay, Smacks.
Cloud9 Academy are fully focused now in this second game on that side lane with the Ryze and Fiora as their final picks. This 1-3-1 composition is very interesting. It's sort of what FlyQuest Academy tried to draft in game 1, so Cloud9 now trying to beat them at their own game. And for FlyQuest, they have this really tough task of trying to pick a champion that provides magic damage in a big way, can team fight, and can match that side lane. I think Azir is one of those champions that work very well at that. So we're going to be getting triples Azir. Not something that we end up seeing from him too often, but one that does work well in this case.
You have to also remember when we were looking at FlyQuest Academy, it was mostly physical damage. There had to be not only a strong source of magic damage, either a huge amount of burst or sustained magic damage, and if you were not going to be finding ways or strong ways of engage from this mid lane pick, then it had to provide strong disengage options to buy space for the Aphelios. And Azir fits that bill here, Smacks. You have not only both of those check marks, you also have incredibly safe long-range wave clear with the soldiers, and this will give you time to be able to stall out if things get a little hairy for FlyQuest Academy, if the early game plan or the early mid-game plan for this Olaf Renekton combo does not work out in their favor.
I think this is a really interesting spot that FlyQuest have found themselves in the draft, where they have sort of revealed their hand for 2 picks in particular. They're showing that they're not very keen on picking Ziggs, as they did ban it away. They're also showing that they're not very keen on picking Cassiopeia, which is a pretty nice counter pick into this Ryze that we've seen pop up, mostly in the Proving Grounds games that we've been able to witness over in Unified Grand Prix. But for Triple, you know, he's still very comfortable on this Azir. It does still work in this case. And we're gonna get to see what he can do on this champion now that FlyQuest have more team fight power packed into this composition.
I'm not gonna lie, Smacks. We've seen mixed results on the Fiora, both in Academy and Semi-Pro. I'm trying to recall if there has been a game win yet from the matches that we have seen, because even the most accelerated Fiora that we saw from Tony Top in Evil Geniuses Academy that Cloud9 played against did not net a win. It was super far ahead, but King being able to stall out the game long enough, thanks to the Ziggs, made it so that Evil Geniuses were not able to capitalize on that split push lead. And the way that Fiora now plays with the Gore Drinker build, normally we try to advocate for Fiora to just split push and not necessarily team fight, but if it gets far enough ahead, the amount of AoE sustain that you're getting from this build is actually quite filthy.
I've thought about it a lot, about the Fiora builds that are popping up, and I admit that I definitely found it strange that she was going for Gore Drinker over Divine Sunder when that champion item combination just seems so lethal. I think the reason is because it provides AoE wave clear, because traditionally Fiora in League of Legends has just gone straight for Ravenous Hydra, and since that's not a mythic item, you don't really want to be rushing it. I feel like that is the stand-in that we're seeing in most Fiora builds nowadays. So I've given it some thought. Initially, I was very opposed. I was like, "Wow, this sounds really terrible." But I'm more aligned with the reasoning nowadays.
Yeah, and the even though the mythic passive isn't necessarily the sole reason you go for it, having more ability haste on Fiora always feels incredibly nice. It just makes your cooldowns come up more faster. And for someone like Fiora, who is so dependent on being able to have lunge off CD for so many outplay potentials along with riposte, it makes Fiora an incredibly slippery champion once they get rolling. As Surnfire, with this aggressive level 3 clear from the total bot side of the quadrant, it's going to force Triple out of the lane, get the shove in with Copy, so that Copy can potentially I wonder if Copy's just going to go for a recall here and teleport back.
Wow, this is such a nice move from Cloud9 though. Even if Copy does have to use his teleport right now, Turnfire eats all of that quadrant of the jungle and now forces NXI to pass the river. He wants to get any camps in the entire game right now.
I mean, he's going to try it. I mean,
He
look at
is.
Turnfire. He's on Wolves right now, so he can easily pivot over to these Raptors. He will have the first priority roam from his bottom lane, and NXI knows that, so he cannot contest as Darshan.
Wow.
Getting some chip damage onto Philip in the top lane, and NXI, this feels so bad
Oh my
once
God.
again. Copy just flashing forward aggressively. There's no Ragnarok for NXI until level 6, so Copy might be able to lock him down. Surefire
Wow.
follows up. It's first blood for Cloud9. Smacks another amazing setup and early game opener from the jungle and Cloud9, but there's more action on the bot side as Dreams flashing forward forces King's Flash.
Trades of flashes in the spot side, but Rafa, we're witnessing some crazy gameplay in the early game from Copy and Fire. They are not messing around in this series. This setup is just ruthless as Philip is getting burned to a crisp.
Isles gets hooked up with the Death Sentence, still has Flash if he needs to burn it, finally comes for it, but it's a little too late. Johnson and Dreams might be the only salvaging thing on the map for FlyQuest at the moment, as the rest of the map seems to be going the way of Cloud9.
Belios and Thresh have this pick potential. This is why they are that heavily valued duo in League of Legends bot lane. This is pretty insane stuff that we're seeing for FlyQuest bot lane. Getting that 2v2 kill is huge, but let's watch this setup from Cloud9's mid jungle yet again. Copy, so much confidence, so much swagger. Just flash over here into the melee range of an Olaf. Just insane stuff. This is not something that you do without knowing the limits of both your champion and your opponents. This Copy really flexing his mid lane power here, and for good reason too. You can see on the minimap, even in this replay, that all of the red side jungle is gone. There's no way for NXI to do anything except for fight, and now that Copy has killed him, you just left with nothing to do at all. Fire has every single camp available to him.
If we go back to Copy's interview off of, I believe it was week 7, Smacks, where we talked to him, and Copy was talking about how during the previous week where FlyQuest had the roster swap of the entire LCS squad coming into Academy, and Jose Dion and Palafox, you know, we're not gonna sugarcoat it. They kicked Copy and Surefire's on the Rift, and Copy and Surefire had a long talk afterwards. It's like, man, there's a lot of stuff that we got to work on. And even though Copy and Surefire throughout the Academy split, they would have some games where they were really on as a duo synergy, and sometimes they were off. This has been an incredible sign of growth from this duo as someone, or coming from a duo who learned a lot from FlyQuest's other jungle mid duo in Jose Diono and Palafox.
It just seems like Cloud9 Academy is coming into each and every game today with a clear plan to stop what FlyQuest are doing. In the last game, they noticed that Philip was the main point of contention in the early game for FlyQuest. They shut him down with about 3 or 4 ganks up there, making sure that he did not have any priority. In this game, you can see that Olaf and Nazir wanting to have a lot of early priority as, hold on a second, Isles himself in danger.
Isles doesn't have flash or heal from before. Ooh. A lot of damage from Johnson. Isles is going to stay alive for now, is chugging on some refillable pots. King is back here to pick up the wave as well. But
oh man,
this is the one part of the map that FlyQuest do have a win on because they have constant priority. NXI, despite being pushed out of the jungle in the early game, will be able to get priority over this dragon.
I wasn't sure if Cloud9 were going to aggress further onto him, but choosing not to do so while the dragon was still alive. Edging into the river now, trying to get some vision. Fire may have bitten off more than he can chew.
Yeah, he doesn't have flash. It's a nice collapse roam from the side of FlyQuest. He might be able to trade one back on the triple, but it's not enough damage. Triple is able to live with the skin of his teeth, forcing the flash to be able to get out of harm's way.
Misses this wave, though. He doesn't have to teleport back. He wants to get those minions for himself, but yeah. Gonna feel nice. Is Dark Passage available?
NXI doesn't have quite flash yet. It was still coming off of cooldown, and the Dark Passage doesn't come in time. No Ragnarok either. Copy is actually really trying to just ride off Dreams. Is there a kill opportunity here?
Oh,
King
wow.
going for The W doesn't quite hit it. Dreams is able to walk out alive.
Oh, here comes Triple, though.
Doesn't have
No
the Emperor's
ultimate.
Divide for the cutoff, but Philip is here. He walked all the way from
Oh,
lane.
wow.
He didn't even burn teleport. And now Cloud9 have just overstayed their welcome. It was a great initial pick on the NX side, but over chasing have now been their downfall as FlyQuest are able to equalize.
I feel like if you're going for an academic study, a research paper on why not to go into the enemy jungle when it's in the early game, all you have to do is look right here, because the death timers are still just so short, Rafa. You can't actually do anything around this part of the rift, way past the river, way past the turrets. Cloud9 overreach. They feel very powerful, but instead they end up giving over so much leeway to FlyQuest, and it means that NXI can farm his own camps again, which is the first time this has happened since about 1 minute and 30 seconds.
And the most dangerous thing, if you are a Cloud9 fan, Smacks, is that the kills have gone over to Johnson, who is one of the key pieces for this late game insurance from FlyQuest. He is going to be pumping out a lot of damage upon that 2-item completion we will be seeing soon. He is going for a more defensive setup. It's not the Chad Gale Force, but I respect the shield bow purchase that is coming in. Triple. Okay, well, you got reinforcements. It's a nice Emperor's Divide. It pushes Darshan and Surefire right into Dreams and NXI, but the Ragnarok being popped defensively means they have to retreat to the arms of Johnson. Cloud9 are going to be able to take their leave.
FlyQuest had that lane rotation already set in place. Dreams and Johnson threatening to deal all of this damage, and another Dark Passage saves the life of the teammate. To see this happen yet again, Dreams on this Thresh just seems to be everywhere on the map. You can save Triple right now, and Triple just barely survives.
Man.
You know what, Rafa? This might be a hot take, but Dark Passage, I think, is a good ability.
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
Almost saves NXI here, too. That would have been crazy. But...
See, if Dark Passage was that OP of an ability...
Okay.
Now,
okay.
it's okay, it's okay. Now, this is the part where the over-chasing is a little over-ambitious, because like you said, it's not just the the recall timers, or the death spawn timers, but it's the fact that Triple was able to recall and then immediately teleport back to punish Cloud9 for overextending their welcome in the jungle.
And by the time they're actually under the bot lane turret there, NXI's already back alive. So that just to show you what actually is the problem here. Oh wow!
Oh, beautiful setup. I can't even front. Now, King and Isles have managed to get out alive, but Triple is here with the rotations. Emperor's Divide pins King to the wall. FlyQuest, they are playing beautifully around Johnson and Dreams, who are their strongest pieces on the map currently, just using the setup to great success.
It was a great moment for FlyQuest. They know that they have so much priority thanks to this bot lane duo, and for Cloud9, you know, picking the Senna and the Karma into this retroactively is turning out to be a big hindrance for them. They don't have any way to interact with this lane favorably. They don't have any way to survive it or like out-farm it, get more resources. It's really just everything going wayward for them. Both flashes used, even the cleanse. Only the cleanse is alive, but they still end up falling for Isles again.
Isles is going to try to tether up NXI, forces the Ragnarok out. A lot of immediate power that will be gone from FlyQuest. Johnson and Dreams are under tower at the moment. Dawning Shadow comes through. Shermfire looking for the engage. Darshan has a beautiful flake, and that's a hell of a lot of gold going over into his pockets as he picks up a shutdown onto Johnson, another one onto NXI, and it's oh my god! Darshan is just living the dream right now. He's got fat stacks in the bank, Smacks.
I think we just witnessed a Fiora team fight, Rafa. That was insane. Darshan teleporting over from the side lane post, finds a triple kill. When do we see this? When have you ever seen a Fiora teleport into a team fight and it be the right play?
I'll tell you, Smacks. It was 2015 Worlds, and it was from Rock Smeb.
Oh man,
Rox Tigers.
Darshan is Smeb. Darshan is clearly
Or actually,
peak Smeb right now.
They were Coup Tigers at the time, being 2015. They were Rocks in 2016. But yes, this is Smeb. Smeb has Darshan has disconnected. Smeb has entered the chat.
Nice. I can go right back on to pushing out that wave. He's got the Gore Drinker, and he's actually flanking triple. I don't think this is going to lead to much, but
I'm not going to try to extend this point too much longer, but I think the more accurate point now that I'm thinking about it might be Marin from SKT. The
point is that Darshan is a Smurf top laner on this Fiora, and it's working really well. This is the team that I feel like you can be the most confident in when it comes to split pushing them, and perhaps Evil Genius's academy too, because they just keep picking these champions for Darshan, making sure that he has ways to interact positively in his lane, but doesn't necessarily need to be in these team fights. But boy, oh boy, when he does get to the fights, I mean, you get plays like this.
And it's a nice amount of stalling from Cloud9, Isles being able to lure and bait NXI through the choke point. The Crescent Guard keeps Johnson and Dreams choked in before Darshan makes his eventual arrival here. And from there, Triple just cannot get into this fight. He's trying to throw him over the side of the wall, but all the Cloud9 members are stacked on top of each other.
Grand Challenge healing actually saves Isles' life there, getting a few ticks of that. Dreams... He's lucky. He doesn't give over the quadra kill, but it was pretty close to getting poked with the rapier from Darshan. Oh man, Rafa, this is really interesting. I was very much aligned with you in the draft portion of this game where we were saying, Fiora, all right. I mean, I guess we can see this champion, but hasn't looked very good.
Well, Schernfire, not in the best state. Tries to fight a 1v2 against NXI and Dreams.
Oh my
Triple
God.
is able to punish beautifully, though, being able to catch him in the divide. But just as I say that, no one was quite there ready for the damage follow-up. Philip has the flash over the wall, catches out King with the Ruthless Predator, is going to pop the dominance. It's not going to be any more kills going over to FlyQuest way, as the over-aggression from Cloud9 is starting to be a slight concern, Smacks. I'm not sure if you agree with me.
The good thing about it is that they're not committing everyone this time around. They do still have Copy in that side lane. He is able to get a lot of damage down on that bot lane turret, but it definitely feels concerning when you're focusing mostly just on these fights. They are losing out in a pretty meaningful way in most of these. Now, they do trade this one for a 1-for-1 triple. Jumps the gun to Tad with the Zero Shuffle.
Schernfire's just still trying to poke at
my
NXI
God.
as Darshan almost wins
Wow.
out. Oh, it's the Dawning Shadow that finds the last mark on Philip. A teleport from Copy. Can they rout off the remaining members of FlyQuest? Johnson still has double summoners, so he's not at risk. Dreams might not be able to have the same excuse as both of his summoners are also gone. NXI and Johnson on the run. Surefire just looking to pinhole them here, and Triple doesn't have teleport. He's on the other side of the map, so there's no way that he can join the fight. He's just going to try and rotate over potentially to the mid lane and get a pushback. But this looks doomsday for Johnson. It's a huge Gore Drinker heal from NXI. Does he get out? Not going to be the case here, Smacks.
Copy tanks the turret for the very last moment. He voids the damage of the last shot with his ultimate. That was really well timed from him. Ends up being a 2-for-2 in the end. And that play is honestly just so risky because of the extra healing and no grievous wounds that Cloud9 has built up for themselves quite yet. Red-white usually means don't fight, but Cloud9, against the better judgment of the mantra, still go forward.
Nice snipe from King. And then this is where things get dicey. This is just a good play from Cloud9 because they understand that there's no teleport advantage for Triple to be able to answer back. But you have to give credit to NXI and Johnson, who are able to play pretty damn well under turret given the circumstances of the impending situation.
Yeah. Let's actually watch just how much this Gore Drinker heals NXI, because Johnson, he dies almost immediately. He gets his ultimate off, but the burst is definitely there. But watch the Gore Drinker.
Oh my gosh, that was like a solid fourth of his HP bar just slurped back up.
This is pretty insane. I believe Darshan dies because he doesn't take the taxi.
No, yeah, and he also realm warped the minions, so the turret shots were... It could have gone over to the minions, but Darshan is like, wait, guys, my minions, there's nothing to take for me. Oh my god, Dreams, he got shredded.
2v1, not wanting to take. Dream's not even going for the tanky build. It looks like he is going for the Shirelia's Reverie, or that's the really old name. I don't actually know what the second word is on Shirelia's anymore. And I can't believe he just pulled out Reverie out of thin air. That's like a season 3 item. Rafa, we're old.
It's Shirelia's battle song now.
There it
I think
is.
it's the proper name. Yeah.
That's got to be it. That sounds right
Yeah.
to me.
Reverie was an awesome item back in the day. I mean, it's technically the same item. You still get a huge movement speed boost. I just remember building it on like AP Rammus sometimes.
Okay. We're getting confirmation that Rafa is indeed right. It is Shirelia's battle song. Well done. You really know your AP Rammus, which is not something that I personally would be very proud about, but each their own.
Hey, we save that for the ARAM specialist, Max. And we got Cloud9 trying to contest for this dragon. FlyQuest have already secured the first 2 dragons of the game. Shurima Shuffles have been on point from Triple. NXI it tries to go in, but Cloud9 are able to secure the dragon. Philip is aggressing onto the front line, but it's a beautiful punt away from Shermfire thanks to the Crescent Guard. He gets hooked back in from Dreams. And the rest of Cloud9, they just want to get out. They got all that they came for, but Triple finds the Shurima Shuffle, launches King back into the waiting arms of Johnson, and now the rest of the members of FlyQuest are looking to run down Cloud9. Isles might be in a bad spot as he doesn't have access to the same mobility as Darshan. Darshan is still going to try to poke at Vitals, try to be able to find opportunities to fight back, but Isles will suffer the same fate. Oh, that's a nice stun, but riposte greatly time for Darshan keeps himself alive.
You can see the frustration with FlyQuest in that play. They lose out on the Drake, and they're like, guys, they're so low, we're so strong, we're so much better than them, go, 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 go. You can feel the aggression. And just as you said, Rafa, as you're exclaiming there, the Drake was very close to being stolen, but Darshan riposts it away, or not riposte, he lunges it away at 83 health. Some close numbers there, but for FlyQuest, excellent re-engage.
There's a FlyQuest just trying to run them down. I mean, this is a very when Johnson and Triple are not getting engaged upon, they have the freedom to continuously output damage, and it's incredibly scary. And Johnson, with good utility gun setup, is able to lock down members for the chase. Not necessarily the best guns for damage and raw damage output or lifesteal and sustain, but, you know, Gravitum, when you already have other damage dealers in NXI and Triple hitting, at least NXI hitting his stride with this Gore Drinker power spike, you just need to set up for the Olaf to run him down.
You know, Rafa, there's something that I think is, oh, wait, hold on a second.
Dreams 2-man play into the Moonfall. Not quite Gravitum Moonfall, but it's just damage, extra damage from Johnson, and yeah, that's King and Shermfire getting eviscerated by FlyQuest.
Man, that is not the corridor that you want. FlyQuest grouping up as 5. They give over pressure in this top lane as Darshan's still wailing away at that turret, but for FlyQuest, these 2 picks, one of them being the jungler, means that they can just go straight to this Baron. The side lane threat from Cloud9 starts to fall apart when you find the 3 members in the mid lane and break them apart so easily.
Yeah, Cloud9, Darshan, even though they're probably on the Baron and could handle a 1v1 against Philip, you don't want to stay in that lane for too long on the potential threat that a member was sent to Goon Squad Darshan with Philip. Poppy was able to shove in the wave and be able to get some chip damage onto the turret. Same thing with Isles in the mid lane, but Cloud9, we talked about it before at the end of the drafts, Max. This is an essential or quintessential 1-3-1 composition from Cloud9. They don't necessarily win out on team fights. You are just relying on Shermfire, King, and Isles to be this 3-man squad that can shove waves in the mid lane, and if things go awry, you can try to disengage. You got Crescent Guard, you got Mantra Inspiration, be able to run away at somewhat mock speed and get out of FlyQuest's way, but anytime that they have face-checked bushes and looked for vision control. Dreams is there to set up for picks and allows FlyQuest to continuously find advantages in this mid-game.
Philip, grand challenge upon him. He has to flash out. And you can see that the side lane threat is there for Cloud9, even despite this Baron. Fiora and Ryze are so potent at doing exactly that. Even Copy angling over here might use Realm Warp to try to take this full turret.
Copy is just sitting there recalling. The Dominus was popped from Philip just to ensure that Darshan cannot threaten taking the inhibitor turret quite yet. 4 members from FlyQuest are committed to this bottom side lane push into the inhibitor turret. They have 1 empowered cannon minion. And for the rest of Cloud9, they don't have the members to actually defend against this, but they're okay. They're going to go for a base race exchange. Darshan and Copy committed to the top side of the map. Copy is going to be looking for the recall, however, potentially, unless they can actually find a kill onto Philip. But FlyQuest are still pounding away at the Nexus turrets in the base of Cloud9. Darshan engages the Grand Challenge onto Philip. Or actually, it wasn't Grand Challenge, it's just straight up vital damage procs. It forces Philip away. Cloud9 are able to equalize the inhibitors despite this 4-man push from FlyQuest.
That's crazy. Oh no, Surenfire!
But once again, it's all about the picks, and it's the baits from FlyQuest. Dreams finds a death sentence. Surenfire is able to keep himself alive. Good timing on the Gore Drinker active, but Copy is now en route on pursuit. He has to be careful, though. Doesn't want to face check into a death sentence. Looks for the Everfrost Roost, gets a nice bit of damage. Oh, stasis on the death sentence! Okay! Copy is able to buy some time for the rest of Cloud9. Darshan has TP, looking for a flank as well. Might just route off FlyQuest from being able to control this dragon.
That's crazy. If Cloud9 are able to get this without even losing any members, which might still happen. Copy's on the run. He has movement speed if he can use that. Okay, he can get out of this. Cloud9. Wow. They secure the Drake too. Rafa, I can't believe they just base raced against Baron.
And considering that the majority of your most powerful wave clear is in Copy, and he wasn't there to stall against the base race from FlyQuest,
is the turret
that's
dying?
Incredible.
I think the Nexus turret might be dying. It does die.
Oh well, that's
King is
that's
just
a
like,
shame
guys,
for Cloud9.
I'm literally playing Senna. I can't do anything. Please help.
There's so many cool moments though in just the past 2 minutes that we saw ensue from both Cloud9 and FlyQuest. FlyQuest being able to get a crucial pick onto Surenfire. It doesn't net the kill because Surenfire is able to answer back with the Gore Drinker, but small maneuvers like that where FlyQuest are on the retreat, and then you can imagine Dreams in comms is like, look. Going for the death sentence as Surenfire is moving slightly faster than King and Isles, and they still lose out on the 4v3 if they are engaged upon, granted when there are no turrets to protect them from. And you gain small advantages like that, but then you also have the moment where Copy stasises the death sentence, and then when Johnson flashes forward trying to set up for the Gravitum lockdown, Copy, as soon as the auto comes through, he knows what the play is going to be, and the flash away gives him enough distance to be able to get out of harm's way.
Okay, Rafa, look at this. Isles is going for the full support build for Karma now. This is something that we've seen pioneered by amateur player APA, where you go for your first 2 enchanter items and then you buy the relic shield. And what this does, if it does get to a late game situation, it allows you to have 2 sight stones on your team, and because you're the high econ support, you can actually afford to go for the ward sight stone. So you get 1,000,000 wards out on the map. This is really interesting, and if it does get to another late game situation, then Cloud9 will have way more vision than FlyQuest.
And considering how important vision control is when you are operating a 1-3-1 split push, that's an awesome adaptation to see out of Isles, because when you have aggressive vision protecting your sides and flanks, when you are this far extended as either the Fiora as Darshan or as Ryze on Copy pushing into either the side lanes, it is going to give you more time and more leeway to be able to force the threat of being able to get structure damage against FlyQuest's base.
You know, there is one problem with Isles' build, though. He does not have the Chemtech Putrefier.
He's working on it now, though.
I think that's a really big deal, though. Being late to this, usually you want that to be your second item. And when you're up against Renekton and Olaf, who both have Gore Drinker, and then also you've got the Immortal Shield Bow to deal with, I feel like Future Fire is a really big deal to have on your team. It's so good to have an enchanter that can spread that all around the team, and then nobody needs to buy even the 800 gold components for Grievous. So being late to this might hurt Cloud9, but with the support organization, they're in it for the long haul.
Yeah, Darshan committed to the mid lane push as he does not have teleport. They don't want to send him to a side lane quite yet. You have super minions pouring in through the top side of the map in favor of Cloud9, and then pouring through the bottom side of the map in favor of FlyQuest. At some point, both teams are going to have to send a member, a candidate, to respond to the incoming waves.
The longer this goes for Cloud9, the more utility they will have, and the more time that they will have to put Darshan on a flank and on a side lane. He's trying it right now, but Philip actually finds him out, so all of FlyQuest just go over to that Baron.
Oh, God.
Oh, man, the
Phillip
Shurelya's.
Popping Dominus. He wants to look for Isles, but doesn't get quite reached there in time. Copy comes in with the Everfrost. He's going to root up Philip, forces the Lantern out of Dreams. And this is a potentially standoff point where Cloud9 are able to re-engage. 3-man Moonfall into Gravitum, but no one can really follow up on the re-engage. NXI is getting chunked out super low. Sterix Gauge is popped. NXI now chunked extremely low on HP, is able to smite the crab for a casual 450 L. Churn Fire! Faces the dust of FlyQuest. Death Sentence is beautiful from Dreams, and now it's a numbers advantage for FlyQuest. Even though HP bars are chunked out, Cloud9 still a member down. They don't have a smite, but they might still be able to press the advantage here if they find Triple.
Triple's still over there. He just still has that ultimate and flash. What a hook! Forces the cleanse.
Triple! Looking for the Shurima Shuffle! They find Copy! King and Isles are able to live, but Copy is a major part of their wave clear, one of their split push options here. FlyQuest have to deal with this impending inhibitor that is about to fall thanks to the super minions. We'll have to see if the super minions can knock it down in time. Target the inhibitor! It's targeting the cannon minion! Is Phil going to be able to get there in time? Triple's trying to shuffle it in. Okay. FlyQuest get the Baron, though. Inhibitor has fallen once again. Smacks, this is
so tense.
This is such a sick game, man.
It's so tense, Rafa. This is really nutty, but I can't believe the inhibitor actually did fall down just based on the super minions alone. Cloud9 finding that side wave setup. And this is what I was bringing up in Game 1, too. Usually for FlyQuest, this has been their main strength all throughout the year. FlyQuest Academy, the team that can do no wrong with the side lanes. They do end up missing out on that inhibitor. We'll see if it actually does punish them. It's Triple forced to clear it out right now. Does have teleport, so it's not the biggest deal in the world, but it could mean a whole lot for FlyQuest now that they have that pressure valve that's leaking.
I didn't even realize that we also have another Mountain Soul this game, Smacks. Once again, just like Game 1, the teams have been dueling it out back and forth so close. Technically, this game, FlyQuest have a larger gold lead this time around. It is nowhere near as neck and neck. 5,000 advantage, but at this point in the game, it may not be enough. But FlyQuest are able to use this Baron to great success as they just absolutely destroy the middle inhibitor turret and the inhibitor. This will further unlock the base and create more thorns in the side of Cloud9.
Elio's still able to rip through these turrets with the white gun. Crescendum just dealing so much damage, and with blue too, you can see that for Cloud9 they can't even stay anywhere near. They'll just get bursted down by the splash of it. Johnson very strong on this Aphelios. They still have these Baron waves in the base, and for FlyQuest, they're stopping the side wave potential of Cloud9 too. You can see Darshan and Copy are forced to turtle in this base. They can't leave this time around. No base race possibilities right now. Maybe find an engage though.
You look at Triple, he's just... The rest of FlyQuest are pushing and pulling Cloud9 members apart. They threaten the bottle inhibitor, but they send 2 members over for Triple. FlyQuest get chip damage onto this last Nexus turret. It is just about it's a battle of tug and war. They are just pulling Cloud9 across all fronts, and then eventually a Death Sentence Astray is going to find Darshan as he pops the stasis. Gonna try to buy some time in a team fight where Cloud9 can maybe turn things around, but
Watch
there's just so
copy.
much AoE damage from Triple. The Emperor's Divide is going to send the end of Darshan and Cuppy, and King and Oz are not going to be able to do a damn thing. And FlyQuest, through all the odds, through all the shenanigans we saw in the early game, they equalize the series and bring us to a game 3.
And what a tense situation. What a battle of wits that's occurring in this series. We're only 2 games in, but FlyQuest do manage to bounce back. They manage to trade blows now, 1-1. Only a best of 3 remains between these 2 teams, but it's feeling like even if it doesn't go all 5 games, we're still going to be here for a while based on how long these games are going.
Yeah, both teams have been really pushing each other to the limits in just terms of how long the games are going. They haven't necessarily opted into compositions that can just absolutely steamroll and at least execute on the steamrolling part. I don't know if we're ever going to see a game in this series where you see a Nexus exploding pre-25 minutes, if I'm going to be honest here, Smacks.
It's going to go late game every time based on the trajectory that we've got going on. And, I mean, these 2 teams have been duking it out over the course of this entire split. Cloud9 just off the back of a full reverse sweep against Evil Genius's Academy, so these teams definitely have it in them to go the distance, but I don't know if I do, man. This is... I'm just sweating here in my chair just watching these players duke it out on the Rift right now. This is some crazy stuff.
Yeah, I mean, and there's so many tense moments where it is just causing me to just lose my train of thought and lose my sense to actually speak. I can tell that my brain is just melting from like, oh my gosh, like what is FlyQuest trying to do? What is Cloud9 trying to do? They're just
saying a lot because that's your job.
I know.
They're transcendent. You know how like in anime sword fights when like all of a sudden you just like can't see them anymore? They're going too fast. That's what's going on right now.
That's the case, and it's not like they're performing a lot of fast actions. It's just the plays that are going for, and the stare downs that occur a lot are so intense that I'm just like, I don't know what to look at next. You know, am I looking for the backline pick? Am I looking for the Shurima shuffle here? Am I looking for the flank from Darshan? I mean, like, I don't know, man. Cloud9 FlyQuest, though, are definitely delivering on a hell of a series so far, and we're nowhere even close to the end. When we come back, the poker face desk, as Smacks has dubbed them, in Mazel, Mad Magical, and Magic will return to break down Game 2.